Howdy. Howdy, gamers. Yeah, this marks another day of non-stop slow damage August. Because I need to finish this. I need to finish this. Shit. Got shit to do. So let's hop right to it. Yeah. Yeah. I noticed the other day my tracking was bad because I had the camera angle really not optimally placed. It was like rudely placed. Oh my god, I got so many emails right before I started. God, I'm so popular. Yeah, I'll respond to those emails after. Slow damage is more important than that thing that I'm getting emails for, which is pretty important, but I'm like, you know what's more important? Slow damage. Yeah. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Okay. The next day, I accidentally pressed forward. Whoops. Just missed this part. The next day. When I awoke, I found myself sitting in an alley, propped up against the wall. Oh, that's weird. I started to look around, but a dull ache in my skull made me grimace. What was I doing here? What happened yesterday? Wait, what? Yeah, what happened? Yeah, what? After Ray patched me up, I went to a random bar and dragged myself into a stupor by closing time. Oops. I couldn't remember what happened after I left the bar. Must have passed out in this alley. Now, just TOWA things. I fished around in my pocket and pulled out my cell phone. No messages from Fujieda. I'm surprised you didn't get robbed. Very surprised. Exhaling, I pressed a hand to the grimy wall and slowly heaved myself up. Re-explore. I'll just wander around. Guess we're gonna wander around. This is an Upper neighborhood alleyway that connects to Koho Street. Cool. Here, it's dark at all hours of the day, so normal people never set foot here. In contrast with the thrill of the nightlife on the main street, these alleys are always gloomy and miserable. Here and there you can see homeless people sitting in the grimy asphalt. This is where they sleep. In the winter, many of them will freeze to death. It's not uncommon to step over a corpse back here. But because it's so commonplace, nobody cares. Wow! Hello? I'm not going inside. I don't want to be around Taku right now. Yeah, fuck Taku! Marisa Clinic, a familiar sight. It's been 7 years since the place first opened. Yep, we've read all this. We know, we know. His bedside manner is so great, but why is he such a bitch to TOWA? Oh my god. Bye. Let's go cafe hopping. Maybe get ourselves a matcha latte. Oh my god, she's so cute. But I think the lady in the green dress from Taku's route is the cutest. TBH. Cutest lady in the game. Shit.
Sorry for the late wait. Here's your coffee.
どうも。
Thanks. What's wrong? Oh, shit.
申し訳ありません。I'm I'm so sorry, sir. Are you hurt at all?
あ
Oh,
But I'll bring you a new one right away.
あら、
Ray? Oh, hey, Toa. I knew it was you. What? Sorry. It's hard to tell by one short voice line. Oh my god, it's you. I was sitting over there, but I thought I recognized your voice. I love this jacket on like them. Very slay. I wish I was part of Ray's friend group, TBH. Like yesterday I was thinking like, should I draw some insert fat art of like them just hanging out and me like being like an extra wheel, like, yeah, these are my pals. Yeah. I work at the clinic, I do art. Yeah.
平気？
Wait, what's going on? Are you hurt?
ま
No. Oh my god, you need to be more careful. Just because you have a lot of scars, it doesn't mean you can be reckless with your body. What does it matter?
ちょっと。
You kidding me? Oh, about you. So true, bestie. So, how did you get hurt? Vaguely.
あネガティブに、うん、
I fell. Is that true? Because it sounds like BS. Maybe you don't care, but
実はね、
your life has value to a lot of people. Don't you get that?
そうか
You need to take better care of yourself. Now you sound like Ray. Oh yeah? Well, that suits me fine. I'll be your Ray 2.0 if you want. I wouldn't mind. I'll pass.
何よそれ。
Sheesh, what happened to your face? Not to be rude. Well, I gotta go now. Enjoy your coffee.
そうか
Thanks.
呆れるわ。
I don't even enjoy looking at my own blood, let alone... What is it? Need something?
いや
No. Come to think of it, a stuffy guy in a suit and glasses asked me about you.
そうか
Oh yeah? It kind of made me uncomfy. I wonder what he was after.
あ、
Bye, Honomi. Chan. Oh, love that. Love that little... Mademoiselle.
父さん。
Oh, TOWA-san. Hey, Igarashi. Wait, are you hurt? Feels like you've been getting banged up a lot lately. I lost my Texan accent. It's a long story.
ダメっすよ。
Look, TOWA-san, you probably shouldn't add to the scars you already got. It hurts to look at you. Oh, that reminds me. Could I talk to you about something that's been bothering me?
あ
Sure. Thank you. So basically, it's looking like my friend's got involved in this weird religious group. A cult?
わからないっす。
Told me he's leaving home to join their facility. I'm not sure what to do. Yeah, it's a cult, bro.
ポジティブにそれは
You should probably try to stop him. I do, right? He keeps claiming this religion gave him hope and offered him salvation, but can you really call that salvation?
そうかまあ
Varies from person to person. Some sincerely believe in it. All right. I guess it's complicated. I'm gonna try to talk him out of it one last time. TOWA-san, thanks so much for hearing me out.
それじゃ。
Anyway, see you.
じゃあな。
See you.
Those who believe shall be saved. Everyone needs something to keep them grounded, I guess.
Basically.
どうしたら
The kid'll open his eyes to reality.
Hard to say, honestly.
Right.
あ
Adios.
Ah.
Wait, isn't this where Towa woke up? Yeah, this is where Towa woke up. Yep.
Is there a dude
Called, Kitten-chan here? I forgot his name. Tosa?
Huh.
Oh, it's you.
Yo, what?
Is this the first time we've seen him? Like, out and about? I think so.
どういうことですか
What are you doing here? You hurt yourself again? You didn't come here to get looked at, did you?
いや、
No, I was just passing by. What are you doing here? I'm scouting, you could say. Scouting?
え
I go to other hospitals and gather information on them. After all, they might have more efficient workflows that we can learn from. You're really serious about your job, huh? Oh, shut up.
え
Toa-san, were you fighting with Dr. Murasei again? Yes, kitten. Yes.
ポジティブに。ま
Maybe. Aha, so you were.
いいですか
I won't tell you not to fight with him, but please don't sabotage his motivation to work. He's a good, honest man, and sometimes these things affect his performance. Ah, there. I finally said it.
あ、よし。
Yeah, he seems like the type to bottle things up a lot. Really passive-aggressive. I've been meaning to say that to you for a long time now.
そうなのか。
Are you in love with Taku? I think he has a crush on Ray, but I wouldn't say Taku, because like I think in Razor he was like, oh, yeah, Ray-chan.
やめてください
Yes, he. What? Don't be ridiculous. I have a deep respect for him as a doctor. Unlike you. I've actually got my life together. Thanks.
そうか。
Gee, sorry.
それじゃ
Anyway, I'll be leaving now. Goodbye. Yeah. There are so many things we can improve at the clinic. Yeah, who wouldn't love Ray? This person has good taste. Was there something else?
別に。
No.
あれは
A man in a business suit asked me about you. Could it be? Don't get any weird ideas in your head. I'm not. Oh, buddy. Oh, it looks so different during the day. What? It's you.
Yeah. Satogumi's internal conflict is now in full swing. Now that Sakaki's the new leader, the other factions are on edge.
The way things stand, a war could break out. Hard to predict what will happen. Every year, tons of people go missing in Shinkomi, and yet almost none of them have been found. Rumors say they got sold off to the mainland or other countries.
Crazy, isn't it?
Conversely, I hear some people are shipped here from the mainland. No chance of finding them after that.
そう
Urgent. Shinkomi was a profitable casino resort. Then it was designated as a special administrative region of Japan. The mainland's economy went to shit. So people went to Shinkomi in search of work, resulting in the high-rise buildings you see everywhere. But the rapid expansion led to a ton of nasty rumors. Apparently, things were even worse back then. Especially, it was all behind the scenes.
おー
To the mainland, Shinkomi is an eyesore. They're just bidding their time and waiting for the chance to jump in. With the leader dead and everyone in a panic, this is the perfect moment to strike. And yet, the mainland isn't taking action. I should think this is a rare opportunity. Is something holding them back?
あ
Shinkomi's adult entertainment industry. Almost all of it is controlled by the Takasato Gumi. These days, the most well-known is the Red Light District on Kowo Street. But in the past, there used to be a lot of popular spots in District A, or so I'm told. And supposedly, a lot of prominent figures from the mainland and overseas used to visit them. I hear things were more prosperous back then.
あ
Come to think of it, the other day, a man in a suit asked me about you. What did he ask?
あ
I got scared, and so I didn't tell him anything. Wow.
は
This conversation is now over.
あ
I can't imagine. That man is a friend of yours.
は
You know, that's just afraid of normies. It's kind of cute. Not gonna lie. That's kind of adorable. I just like having all the places marked out in green. It makes me happy. Exploration over. I had no intention of going back to the clinic. Instead, I walked into a random building and checked my phone. I had some notice from Taku and Ray, but none from Fujieda. My only option was to keep waiting. Damage. Three days later. Holy shit, he's just been like sleeping in random places. I don't know, for if it was like a different person or protagonist it'd be concerning, but it's fucking TOWA. He's like, yeah, I'll sleep on the street. Who the fuck cares? Days later. To avoid having to see Taku, I spent as little time at the clinic as humanly possible. I wouldn't come home until after Taku had left for the day. The rest of the time I was either getting drunk at a random bar or sleeping on the streets, sometimes in the park. This was what my life was like before I moved in at the clinic, so it didn't really bother me. More importantly, I was waiting for Fujieda to get back to me, but I still hadn't gotten any notes from him. Yeah, I imagine he's going back when Taku's gone and showering, changing his clothes, and then coming back, you know? I sat nestled in the concrete tunnel from last time, drinking a little bottle of booze, you know, just a little treat. Evidently, my negotiations with Fujieda hadn't worked out. But to be fair, I was solely talking out of my ass at the time, and he was by no means obligated to respond to my one-sided offer. Still, I couldn't help but feel like I screwed up. What did I hope to get out of an information exchange with Fujieda? I leaned my head back against the curbed concrete and closed my eye. The booze had gone to my head and a hint of drowsiness settled on my eyelid. Slowly, my consciousness sank into the darkness. Getting shit-faced at a park in the middle of the day, no probs. And passing out, no probs. When I next opened my eye, I sensed the person next to me. Fujieda? Someone was peeking into the tunnel. It might be a kid. Oh, Fujieda. Nah. I was right. Fujieda's just like, I know where to find you. You're always in this little tunnel. Startled, I sat upright. In an instant, I was wide awake. Are you drunk? He furrowed his brow quizzically. And what happened to your face? Did you get in a fight? Okay, I read this yesterday, and even I don't fucking remember what happened. As he spoke, he reached out to me. Was he trying to help me out? Reflectively, I smacked his hand away. He let out an aspirated sigh. Do you intend to stay here forever? In that case, I'm going back to my office. He and I had met here once before. I thought back to that night as I looked at him. Why would he stop to help me? Was he more of a meddler than he looked at first glance? Or did he need something from me? There had to be some reason he didn't simply turn a blind eye and kept walking. Either way, I was hoping to talk to him, so this suited me just fine. I rolled out of the tunnel and turned to face him. Can you walk? Whatever. Let's go. With no explanation whatsoever, he turned on his heel and started walking. Where was he taking me? His unmoving smoke was completely unreadable. I couldn't tell what he was thinking. Glaring after him, I reluctantly followed after him. As it turned out, Fujieda brought me to the clinic. Oops. Careful to ensure we wouldn't be seen, I brought him through the side entrance, then took the elevator to the 3rd floor. Oh, it's cleaner! Inside my apartment, I pulled off my coat. Just then, Fujieda thrust his hand out to me. Resting on his palm was the pocket watch.
これを返そうと思って村瀬クリニックへ向かっているところだったんだ。
I was on my way to Murasei Clinic in order to return this to you. Did the internet cut out? It's... Okay, it was just red for a second. I got scared. Just in case. I don't think my internet cut out, but I'm just gonna show this just in case because I'm scared. Okay. I used the details in the background to do some digging about the establishment. Chances are high that the photo was taken on site at Euphoria.
さらに君の母親のことも分かった。源氏名はマヤ。本名は桜木優馬。
I also learned more about your mother. She went by Maya, but her real name was Sakuragi Yuma. As he spoke, he observed my reaction. Sakuragi Yuma. Hearing that name added a small weight to my chest, but nothing more.
マヤはかなりの美人と評判で、組長の愛人だったそうだ。組長も入れ込んでいたようだな。
Supposedly, she was quite the beauty. She was the gang leader's mistress, and he was crazy about her.
性格はおとなしく、誰ともつるまない一匹狼だったらしい。
She was something of a lone wolf, with a quiet personality.
ついでと言ってはなんだが、君のことも調べさせてもらった。
And while I was at it, I looked into you as well. Oh, buddy, we know. Oh, we know, bro. You've been asking everywhere.
君は戸籍の登録がない。
Oh.
これは相続手続きの処理をしている時に分かったことだ。まあ、新興味出身の人間にはよくあることだが。
You have no official birth certificate. Something I learned when we handled the paperwork for your father's inheritance. That said, it's not that unusual for a Shinkomi local.
そのTOWAという名前は本名じゃないんだろう。戸籍がないなら本名もない。
TOWA is a nickname, right? Without a birth certificate, I don't know your real name. Wait, what was her last name again? Come on! Guess his last name could be Sakuragi.
君の本名に当たる名前は何だ？昔は何と呼ばれていたんだ？
So, what is your real name? What were you called as a child?
覚えてない。
I don't remember.
覚えてない？本当に？
You don't remember? Really?
ああ。
Yeah.
さすがにそれはないだろう。
Surely you can't be serious.
嘘じゃない。
I'm not lying. More accurately, the memory kept erasing itself. It was buried in there somewhere, but every time I actively tried to remember, I would forget again. Even if someone else literally told me what it was, I would forget. Proof of how much I subconsciously hated my name, I guess. Fujieda fixed me with a probing look, then continued.
戸籍がないなら住所もない。君は先代組長の息子だそうだが、組長の身辺を調べているときに、君の情報は一切出てこなかった。
With no birth certificate, you have no permanent address. Reportedly, you're the late leader's son, but when I searched his records, I couldn't find anything about you.
マヤは息子と共に事故に遭い、 新興海総合病院に入院。その後死亡。息子は退院した。
Maya and her son were admitted to Shinkomi General Hospital following an accident. Maya died. Her son was discharged.
とここまではいい。問題は妹に関する情報がどこにもないということだ。
That much I know for sure. Problem is, I haven't found any trace of your sister. He narrowed his eyes sharply.
君には妹がいた。それは間違いないんだな。
But you did have a younger sister, correct?
ああ
Yeah.
君が仙台組長の息子だという話は高里組の複数の関係者から出てきた。公的な記録がなくとも証言されたと言っていいだろう。
Several Takasato associates have stated for the record that you're the leader's son. That much is essentially verified, even without official records.
だが君の妹の話は全く出なかった。つまり
But no information on your sister, which means
妹という存在を認識しているのは君だけということだ。
you are the only one who seems to remember she existed.
何が言いたい
What are you talking about?
それはこちらが聞きたい。君の妹は本当に存在しているのか？
I should ask you the same question. Did this sister of yours actually exist? I can only vaguely remember my sister. But she definitely existed. She couldn't possibly be a mere figment of my imagination. I don't know. She could be not real.
妹がいたことを証明できるものは何かあるのか？
You have anything that proves she existed?
箱にぬいぐるみが入ってただろ
The bunny toy that was in that box.
あれは
But that's... Fujieda frowned.
知人の妹のものだ。
What? That belongs to my friend's younger sister. I looked back at him darkly.
持って行ったのはお前か
So you admit you took it?
あれは君のものじゃない。名前が書いてあっただろう。
It wasn't yours. Didn't you see the name written on it?
名前
What name? I gave him a funny look. I examined that bunny several times and never saw any name on it.
名前なんて書いてなかった
There was no name on it.
いや、あった。
Yes, there was. Was this man delusional? Or what? Or just stubbornly mistaken? We stared each other down. Eventually, Fujieda conceded.
うすうす感じているとは思うが、これから調査が進むにつれて、君も知らないような様々な真実が明るみに出ることになるだろう。
As I imagine, you started to realize, the deeper we dig into this, the more you'll discover things you never knew before.
これまでの認識が崩れるような辛い現実を突きつけられるかもしれない。それは分かっているな。
You may be faced with painful truths that destroy your understanding of the world around you. You do get that, right?
そっちこそ
Yeah, but do you? Oh. If anyone was about to have a rude awakening, it was this guy, not me. Besides, it was too late for me to back down. No matter what. He nodded slightly.
君の妹に関しては村瀬先生にも電話で聞いたんだが、はぐらかされたんだ。
Well, I called Dr. Murase to ask about your sister, but he dodged the question.
そこで攻め方を変えることにした。
So I've decided to switch tactics.
マヤと同時期にユーフォリアで働いていた 女性スタッフの一人の足取りをつかんだ。勤め先がここから近い。
I've got a lead on a woman who worked at Euphoria when your mother was alive. She now works at a cafe nearby.
君と関わりのある店。柳川コーヒー店だ。
Your beloved Yanagawa Cafe. As it happens. How does this fucker know he's a regular? Man, he's a real stalker, this. Well, he's doing an investigation, so I guess it makes sense, but... Wow, freak.
あまりにも近くて驚いただろう。今から話を聞きに行くんだが。君も来るか？
Right under your nose, wasn't she? I'm planning to go talk to her. Are you coming?
ああ。
Yeah.
連絡もよこさずに何をしてるのかと思ったら、しっかり働いてたってことか。
Maybe it was the cutie that dropped that thing. Probably not. It might be someone older. I was wondering what kept you so busy that you couldn't call me. Turns out you were actually making progress.
情報には情報で返す。これで貸し借りはなしだ。
We'll trade information on a one-one basis. No depths. Apparently he had no intention of telling me his true objective. I shrugged and rolled my eye.
弁護士先生らしいな。その権限を振りかざして調べたのか。
Spoken like a true lawyer. Did you use your special privileges to sniff around?
方法などどうでもいいだろう。
My methods hardly matter. Just then his phone began to ring.
はい。
Hello. He pulled it out and raised it to his ear. But he didn't say another word after that, he merely listened. Then after a moment, the call ended.
無言電話だ。おそらく高里組だろう。
No one on the other end. I imagine the Takasato Gumi's behind it.
高里組？あんた、高里組の弁護士なんだろ。
The Takasato Gumi. But you work for them. He smirked faintly.
解雇された。今は嫌がらせを受けて監視される身だ。
They fired me. Now I get to enjoy a life of harassment and surveillance. At this, I straightened up. I remember at a time his hair and clothes were all messy. Maybe he had just finished having it out with someone in the Takasato Gumi.
そりゃ余計なことしたな。
Well, now I feel bad.
余計なこと？
Why is that?
俺のせいだろ。
Because it's my fault. I shouldn't have said anything to Sakaki.
気にする必要はない。遅かれ早かれこうなっていた。
Nothing you need to feel bad about. It would have happened sooner or later. He spoke in an emotionless voice, then looked at me.
正直、私はまだ君を完全には信用していない。だが、君が持ちかけてきた情報の共有に関しては、一考する価値があると思っている。
Frankly, I don't fully trust you yet. But I do believe your proposal to exchange information is worth considering.
君が忘れている記憶を思い出してもらった方が近道になるのは確かだ。だから、それまでは協力するということでいいな。
The fact is, it'll save me some time if you can get your lost memories back. So I'm willing to cooperate until that happens.
ああ。
Alright. In the end, I had gotten my wish. I exhaled.
俺の連絡先は言っとくけど、クリニックに電話しても無駄だから。
Do you need my number? Fair warning, but you're wasting your time calling the clinic.
無駄？
Meeting?
うちの先生がいろいろと警戒してるんだよ。
I'm afraid our doctor's the cagey type. Fujieda nodded in understanding.
そうか。君の電話番号は秘書から聞いているし、メールアドレスも写真を送ってきた時に把握している。
Right. Well, my secretary gave me your phone number, and I have your email address after you sent that photo.
が、一応交換をしておこう。
That said, we should go ahead and exchange contact information. He pulled his phone back out. Likewise, I grabbed my phone and we traded info, including our messenger IDs. Whoa.
それでは出かける準備をしてくれ。私は外で待っている。
Now then, get ready to go. I'll be waiting outside. With that declaration, he left the room. As new questions swirled in my head, I rose from the sofa. Then I put on a face mask and pulled my hood low over my eyes. Someone who used to know Maya might recognize me on sight, so I wanted to conceal my face. Once I was ready, I left the apartment. Okay, I'm not ready, so, no, wait. Towa, we gotta take a shit. BRB. I didn't have my morning shit yet. Sorry, I had to poopy. Silly me, I shouldn't. Oh shit, I'm dead. Until I had my morning shit. What? You know how it is. Together, Fujieda and I headed to the Yanagawa Cafe. When we walked in, a waitress approached.
いらっしゃいませ。何名様ですか？
Hello?
Welcome. Table for how many?
すみません。こちらに長谷川妙子さんがいらっしゃると伺ったのですが。
Excuse me, I was told this was where I could find a woman by the name of Hasegawa Taiko-san.
長谷川さんですか？少々お待ちください。
Hasagawa-san? Just a moment.
Confused, the waitress walked off into the kitchen. After a moment, a different waitress came walking over. Yeah! She's so...
長谷川ですが。
She's so cute. And yeah, she's the one we've been seeing a lot at this cafe.
Hi, I'm Hasagawa.
She tilted her head anxiously. The woman looked to be in her mid-30s, with large round eyes like a doe. I recognized her as a waitress who had served me a handful of times. Fujieda withdrew his business card case and offered her one from inside.
はじめまして。弁護士の藤枝と申します。
Pleasure to meet you. My name is Fujieda. Is a Fujieda? And I'm a lawyer. Holding the business card, Hasegawa looked back in surprise.
弁護士さん？
A lawyer?
お仕事中にすみません。少々お聞きしたいことがありまして。マヤさんについてお話をお伺いできればと。
I'm terribly sorry to disturb you at your workplace, but I'd like to ask you about Maya-san, if that's all right. Oh. Instantly, her expression shifted. Her eyes widened and the blood drained from her face as she shook her head.
それは。
もちろん、報酬はお支払いします。
You will be compensated for your time, of course. She pursed her lips tightly, holding something back. Oh, I can't find it. One second. One second. Was she desperate for money?
お店の裏口へ回ってもらえますか？すぐに行きますから。
Could you meet me out behind the building? I'll be right there.
She spoke under her breath. Whoa. She sounds so scared. Then tucked the business card into the pocket of her apron and hurried off into the back. Fujieda looked back at me and glanced pointedly at the door. I turned on my heel and led him out of the cafe. We walked around to the back alley. Fujieda stood at the door and I sat against the wall a short distance away. He said we would overwhelm her if we both talked to her at once, so I agreed to step back and listen. A strong, wet smell filled the narrow alley. I looked up and spotted thick clouds overhead, threatening to rain on us. I don't think she'll die if two people talk to her, you know, it's like... After a while, Hasegawa came out through the back door.
お待たせしました。
Sorry about that.
I really like this background. It's so colorful. She hung her head like a child preparing for a lecture.
それで何を聞きたいんですか？
Well, what did you want to ask?
先ほど言った通り、マヤさんについてです。あなたが昔、マヤさんと同じ店で働いていたと伺ったので。
As I said, I'd like to speak to you about Maya-san. I understand that you used to work together.
本当にただそれだけです。私は何も知りません。
And that's all. I swear, I don't know anything.
マヤさんはシエロを辞めた後、新たに店を始められたそうですね。ユーフォリアという名前の。
After she quit Cieleo, she opened an establishment of her own, a place called Euphoria.
本当に何も知らないんです。話すことなんてありません。
I really don't know anything. There's nothing I can...
Out of nowhere, Hasegawa started shouting. She was afraid of something. Fujieda regarded her calmly.
10年以上前の話ですが、知人の妹が失踪しました。私はその件にユーフォリアが絡んでいるのではないかと考えています。
More than a decade ago, my friend's little sister went missing. I believe Euphoria is involved in the incident.
だから何でもいい。何か知っていたら教えてもらえませんか？
So please, if you know anything at all, please share it with me. His friend's sister went missing? This was news to me. He's talking about you, Care Bear. One second. Was that his true objective? Hasegawa bit her lip so hard she nearly drew blood. Her hands clutched at her apron.
本当に知りません。無理です。帰ってください。
I really don't know. I can't. Please leave.
Staring at the ground, she choked the words out in a shaky voice. Fujieda started to say something, paused, then changed tack.
長谷川さん、私は弁護士です。もしかしたらあなたの力になれるかもしれません。何か思い出した時には名刺の連絡先へご連絡を。
Hasegawa-san, I am a lawyer. I might be able to help you. If you happen to remember anything, you'll find my contact info on that card. He must have decided to call it quits because he shot me a look. I rose to my feet, and when he started walking, I followed after him. When I looked over my shoulder, I saw Hasegawa still standing there, hanging her head. She was so rigid, I half expected her to pass out. Whoa. Trauma. After that, the sky got darker and the rain came.
降ってきたな。
Starting to rain. Fujieda started walking faster, so I matched my pace to his. As we walked, he looked at me in silence. One look at his tense expression, and I knew what he was thinking. It was the same thing I had sensed myself.
つけられている。
We're being followed.
Ah.
Yup. Beneath the drone of the rain, I could faintly hear footsteps somewhere behind us. Then Fujieda started walking in the opposite direction of the clinic, possibly in an attempt to shake our pursuer. We turned a corner, walked straight, then entered a side street. Meanwhile, the icy rain soaked our hair and clothes. Once the passerby thinned on the streets, the rhythmic footsteps suddenly exploded.
走れ
Run! Whoa. Whoa, shit. As Fujieda shouted, a gunshot rang out. Reflectively, I ducked and ran down the street toward the downtown area. Together, we threw ourselves into the hectic crowd. Breathing heavily, I camouflaged myself among the bobbing umbrellas.
さすがに無関係の人間を巻き込むことはしないだろう
Surely they won't attack with innocent civilians around. Fujieda muttered under his breath without turning to look at me.
Takasato Kumi ka?
Is it the Takasato Kumi?
Ah.
Yeah. He ran a hand through his wet hair, slicking his bangs back.
ここから私のマンションが近い場所を教えるから先に行けクリニックには戻るなディトックへ
My condo's not far from here. I'll give you the address, so go on without me. Don't go back to the clinic. Go to District D. With that, he moved away from me. Moments later, he had disappeared into the crowd. Then I felt my phone buzz in my coat pocket. It was a message from Fujieda containing the GPS location of his condo. So I headed there, as per his instructions. Condo? Shit, she's loaded. Condos are like apartments that people own, right? They're bigger and fancier, right? Fujieda's secret condo. Oh. The rain rapidly grew heavier, and by the time I arrived, I was soaked from head to toe. Amid all the skyscrapers stuffed into the gills with low-income residents, Fujieda's condo was located in a small two-story building. Buildings of this size were reserved for the rich. I stopped just outside the front entrance, beneath the awning? Apparently Fujieda wasn't here yet. I somehow doubted he'd gotten himself caught, but then again, our pursuer had a gun. There was a chance he'd gotten shot. I stood there, fidgeting restlessly, but before long, a series of rhythmic splashing sounds cut through the rainy gray haze. It was Fujieda. He ran right up to me, gasping for breath. Several strands of hair were messily stuck to his forehead, and his designer coat was darkly soaked.
怪我はないか
Are you hurt at all?
そっちこそ遅かったな。
What about you? Took you long enough.
巻くのに少し手間取った
It took some time to give them the shake. He didn't appear to be injured. Together we passed through the automatic sliding doors and into the foyer. Water onto the polished floor, Fujieda unlocked the door to the elevator lobby. Leave it to rich people to install an elevator in a two-story building. I don't know, what if you have something heavy to carry? We took the elevator to the second floor, walked to the door at the far end of the hall, and stopped. There was no keyhole. Fujieda pulled a keycard from his inner jacket pocket and held it up to the panel beside the door. I heard a beep, then an electronic whirling sound. It'd be impossible to pick these state-of-the-art keyless locks. True. I followed him inside, took my shoes off at the door, and walked down the hall. In a blink, my cold body was enveloped by the warmth of the heater. Fujieda paused midway at the door, but gestured for me to continue straight ahead. I like black walls way more than white walls, to be honest. Looking very fancy and elegant so far. As instructed, I headed to the door at the end of the hall and walked in. Like, to me, black walls feel more lavish and more rich, and white walls just feel so bleak. Yeah. And like anything you put, like if you put like anything colored, like a colorful photo or illustration, the black walls will make it really pop. So I really would like a place like this. And the white ceiling is a really good contrast. I hope. And it's really common for places now to be like a grayish brown, what's it called? Wooden floor. I don't think I like it that much. I like rich browns more. Wow. Yeah, this really suits him. Blackout curtains? Shit. There I found a spacious living room. The gray and white interior furnishings afforded the place a pristine vibe, with everything precisely in its proper place. No wonder when he came to TOWA's place, he was like, holy shit! Whoa! Almost like it was a staged showroom. It was exactly the sort of home I'd expect Fujieda to live in, but at the same time it felt a little too perfect. Almost like he was intentionally leaning into the stereotype. As I stood blankly in the living room, he returned carrying a folded bath towel. His hair was no longer slicked back, which changed his aesthetic quite a bit. I had thought he was older than me, but now I wasn't so sure. He saw me standing there and offered me the towel.
これで体を拭いてくれ。
Use this to dry yourself off. I took it and draped it over my head and started stripping on the spot. My clothes were so waterlogged that I could see a puddle forming at my feet. After I pulled off my coat and shirt and let my pants fall to my ankles, I sensed a gaze and looked up. Whoa. Fujieda was staring at me with a hard look on his face, but when our eyes met, he quickly turned away. Bro! Caught you slipping. Caught you lacking. Hello. I figured he was scandalized by my scars. Most people had the same reaction when they laid eyes on my bare body for the first time. As I stood there in my underwear and toweled myself off, he started to leave the room.
脱がないのか?
Not going to do the same.
あ、バスルームで。
I will. In the bathroom.
バスルーム? 見られたくないのか? 女じゃあるまいし。
The bathroom? Why? Too embarrassed? We've both got the same equipment, you know. He might have something on his naked body he's embarrassed about, you know. I teased him with a smirk. Mostly I wanted to get a reaction out of him. Someone like me would ordinarily never be on speaking terms with a guy like him. But since I had the opportunity, I wanted to get a look at this tightwad's tight bod. He probably had skin as perfectly pristine as this condo. He glared at me silently.
別にバスルームへ行きたいならご自由に。
Whatever. Go hide in the bathroom if you want. I snickered then. With his eyes narrowed, he whipped off his coat. Next came the suit jacket. Then he started unbuttoning his starched white shirt. Oh! He's not gonna go. Oh. He had taken the bait. I thought he was too logical for this, but apparently he was a bit of a hothead. Amused, I watched the angry striptease and delighted in the slow reveal of his secrets. But once his skin was bare... Oh. My eyes widened. Oh. Are these like acid burns? This is like definitely cuts, like really bad cuts, but this, I don't know, it looks like a burn. And healed slashes here? The skin I expected to be flawless was in fact riddled with scars. Nearly as many as me, in fact, though they looked different. While mine were inflicted through cuts, the majority of his looked like burn marks. Yeah, this definitely looks like a big burn. I thought back to the way he looked at me earlier. I thought he reviled me, but maybe he realized we weren't so different. After all, it was the same realization I was now having. At the same time, I could feel my heart race. Could have imagined that someone so far removed from poverty would have a body that looked like mine. In terms of status, he was supposed to be part of the ruling class. But instead, he was quite possibly even weirder than I was. How did he get these scars? What sort of life must he have lived? Suddenly, I was really curious about him. He was my polar opposite, and yet our bodies were a perfect match. Oh, wording there, buddy. Who wouldn't be a little curious? Spurred on by the thrill of it, I felt my lips curl into a smile.
なんだ、弁護士なんて大層な仕事してるくせに、俺にそっくりだな。
Well, I'll be damned. Turns out Mr. Fancy Lawyer is just like me. These kind of look like... What would this be? It's not a cigarette butt. It's too big to be a cigarette butt.
あんたも傷が好きなのか、俺みたいに。
Do you like scars the same way I do? He didn't respond, just stared at me from under his soaping bangs, and his eyes glinted fiercely. But his silence only intrigued me all the more. If I had to guess, whatever caused his scars was now now a fundamental part of who he was as a person. In which case, I really wanted to know. I've been studying this part of the shoulders lately in my anatomy, so I'm like, why is he so built? He's a lawyer. Because like when this is like puffed up a bit, like this sort of muscle indicates like they work out. He's pretty built for a lawyer. I wanted to paint it. But like the shoulders aren't super built, but here the trapezius is puffing out quite a bit. He's pretty built for a lawyer. But of course, with a guy like him, I knew it wouldn't be that simple. No way I could break through his impenetrable armor. With a small sigh, I sat down on the luxurious sofa in nothing but my skivvies. Then I grabbed the remote off the coffee table and switched the TV on. I heard the door open, so I looked over my shoulder and realized Fujieda had disappeared along with my wet clothes. After a few minutes later, he reappeared and set something down beside me on the sofa. It was the stuff from my pockets, my phone, cigarettes, and lighter. He stood next to the sofa and stared intently at the TV screen, though I knew he wasn't really watching. Likewise, I shifted my gaze to the screen and zoned out. The background noise filled the empty space between us. The screen was showing what looked like an old suspense film. The protagonist walked up to a decrepit mansion and stepped inside. Through some kind of visual effect, the inside of the mansion was tinged with a seductive scarlet. It was connected with something else in my mind. A room in a mansion somewhere. I always viewed the room from the same position. The silhouette of a woman. My mother, I guess. The vaguest shadow of a little girl. My sister. That's right. It's
夢。
my dreams. I was snapped back to reality by the sound of my own voice.
夢
Whoa, what the? He looks so different. Why is he so built? Like, look, his trapezius is like boing, so puffed out. I guess it might be due to the artist trying to make them look hot or something, but why is this lawyer so built? Dreams? I looked over and found Fujieda staring dubiously back at me. This was my first real look at his face, and frankly, I almost didn't recognize him. With his glasses off and his hair down, he looked nothing like the businessman I originally met. I was starting to think we were around the same age after all. I looked at him for a while. He frowned at me. Then I remembered he had heard me muttering to myself. I tried to think of some way to play it off, but changed my mind. Maybe I could tell him about the nightmares I'd been having. They were tied to my past, so if I shared them with him, maybe it could lead to something.
最近、毎晩のように悪夢を見る。おそらく、俺が覚えていない過去の夢だ。
Lately, I've been having nightmares almost every night, and I think they're about my forgotten past.
夢には母親が出てくる。顔はよく見えないけど、多分そうだ。それから妹も。
In every dream, my mother's there. I can't see her face, but I can tell it's her. And my sister too.
それがいつで、どこにいるのかまではわからない。思い出せない。ただ、
I can't tell when or where the dream takes place, since I can't remember, but
夢の中の俺は子供で、恐怖心を抱いてる。何かに怯えてる。
in the dreams, I'm a kid again, and I'm scared. Of what? I don't know.
目が覚めるとひどく気分が悪くて、じわじわとまるで遅効性の毒に蝕まれてるみたいだ。
But every morning, I wake up feeling like shit, like the poison slowly setting in.
最近は夢を頻繁に見る。ずっと薬でごまかしてきた。けど、いい加減ノイローゼになりそうだ。
Lately, they've gotten more and more frequent. I've been taking pills to avoid them, but at this point, I feel like I'm going insane. When I said it all out loud, I realized that these dreams were affecting me a lot more than I thought. I scoffed at myself for whining, but then looked at Fujieda for his reaction. His expression was still hard, but he didn't avert his gaze.
必ず真実を暴く。その時に君が知りたがっていることも全てわかるだろう。それまでの辛抱だ。
I promise you, we will find the truth. At that point, you'll learn everything you ever wanted to know. You just have to hold on until then. Yeah, he looks so different. I'm just like, are his eyes even the same? He looks so different. With that, he left the room. On screen, the male protagonist was fighting off the female villain in a climactic final battle. An anguished scream cut through the dramatic music.
真実を暴く。ね。
Ending to truth. Oh. I snorted. Then I reached out to grab a cigarette, but they were still sopping wet, so I decided against it. As I absently watched the protagonist defeat the villain with a dagger, Fujieda walked back into the room. His unkempt hair and lack of glasses hadn't changed, but now he was wearing different clothes. Once again, he set something down next to me. This time it was a clean white shirt and jeans, all folded up.
君の服は今洗濯している。今日はこれを着てくれ。
Why are you wearing jeans in your own... Oh, I don't know, you have a guest over. Never mind. Why is he so pale? I guess he hits the gym or something. Your clothes are in the wash. Oh, your clothes are in the wash. So for today, you can wear these.
どうも。
Thanks. I didn't actually feel grateful, but I rose from the sofa and got dressed. The clothes were a little big on me, but not noticeably so. I could smell the soft scent of a detergent I didn't recognize. It made me strangely uneasy.
まだ雨は止まないようだな。
It's like the rain hasn't let up yet. Fujieda peeked through a small gap in the curtains as he spoke. I sat back down on the sofa and watched TV as the credits rolled. Beneath the quiet ending song, I could hear the faint patter of raindrops. I could picture the rain pouring down in endless sheets outside. Then those straight lines shifted into scars on Fujieda's body. Poetry right here, baby. Now I was craving nicotine. Once the rainstorm finally passed and my clothes had a quick spin in the dryer, I decided to head back to the clinic. Is that really a good idea, bro? Could have just hung out with Fujieda at his place. You know, he's like loaded. So today marked the start of the winter holidays, but I had a feeling Taka would be there regardless. Fujieda was going to call the clinic's number to ask to speak to him, but I stopped him. Oh yeah, they probably would have time off because of New Year's, right? Like a significant amount of time, maybe. Fujieda was going to call the clinic's number to ask to speak to him, but I stopped him. Taka didn't think highly of Fujieda, so there was a chance he'd outright decline. Besides, I still wasn't ready to talk to him yet. But Fujieda insisted on tagging along to the clinic, so I reluctantly agreed. On our way out, he handed me a paper bag containing my old clothes. I told him I didn't need a bag, but unfortunately for me, he was insistent about that part too. When we arrived outside the clinic, the lights were on in the waiting room. We walked to the side entrance and I unlocked the door. Oh, he's escorting you. There we walked down the hall to the exam room. The door was ajar and the light was streaming out from inside. When I opened the door, I found Taku in the middle of giving first aid. To Ray. Oh yeah, I guess he's doing the money matches. They both looked up in surprise.
TOWA?
Then they looked at Fujieda. His current appearance was nothing like the bespectacled businessman they met previously, so they probably struggled to recognize him.
怪我したのか?
Did you get hurt? Also, TOWA looks really good in this like high-cut shirt. Yeah, I did. As the two of them narrowed their eyes in suspicion, Fujieda bowed his head.
突然すみません。TOWAさんと外で偶然お会いしたんですが、急に雨が降ってきたので、私の部屋で雨宿りをしまして。
I apologize for the sudden intrusion. I bumped into TOWA-san on the street, and since it started raining, I offered him shelter at my home.
もともと村瀬先生にお話があったので、失礼かとは思ったのですが、直接伺わせていただきました。
But I was hoping to speak to you, Dr. Merce, so I hope you'll forgive the spontaneous visit.
TOWAさんが電話はしない方がいいだろうと。
TOWA-san recommended that I speak to you in person. Taku and Ray stared back skeptically.
それでお話とは?
Talk about what? Taku asked tersely.
マヤさんについて知っていることを聞かせていただけないかと。
I'd like you to tell me everything you know about Maya-san. Taku's expression twisted bitterly.
お話しできることは何もありません。
There's nothing I can tell you.
でしたら、これから話すことを聞いていてください。
In that case, allow me to tell you what I know. Fujieda withdrew a weathered memo pad from his jacket pocket and flipped it out, open.
トワさんのお母様の名前。源氏名はマヤ。本名、桜木由馬。
Towa-san's mother. She went by Maya, but her real name was Sakuragi Yuma.
ユマさんは息子さん、トワさんと共に何らかの事故に遭い、入院されていますね。
Yuma-san got into some sort of accident with her son, Towa-san, and they both went to the hospital.
階段から落ちた。俺はその時に記憶を一部失った。
We fell down a staircase. After that accident, I lost a portion of my memories. Taku fixed me with a pained look, then lowered his gaze to the floor.
そして、マヤさんはそのまま亡くなられた。こちらで調べて分かったのはこれだけです。
Then Maya-san passed away. That is the extent to which I have been able to investigate.
村瀬先生はマヤさんの死後、トワさんの診察をされていたんですよね。
And after her death, you handled Towa-san's medical needs, yes?
知っていることをお話しいただけませんか？
Could you tell me what you know? Taku's brow furrowed deeply. But after a long silence, he finally spoke.
トアの父親が誰なのかはご存知かと思いますが、事情が事情ですから、退院後はこちらで引き取って経過を見ていました。
I imagine you know who Towa's father is. For that reason, after he was discharged, I took over his medical care.
俺が知っているのはそれだけです。詳しいことまではわかりません。
That's all I know. I don't have the details.
一つお伺いしたいのですが。
Could I ask you something? Fujieda shot me a sidelong glance, then turned back to Taku.
トワさんは無戸籍だ。だから本名が存在しない。代わりに何と呼ばれていたのか教えていただけませんか？
Towa-san has no birth certificate, which means he has no legal name. Could you tell me what everyone called him back then?
それはできない。
I'm afraid I can't do that. Taku answered firmly. Hey, come on!
むしろなぜ彼をトワと違う名前で呼ぶのですか？その理由は？
Actually, why is it that you call him Towa in the first place? What is the reason for that? Fujieda pressed calmly.
それは本人がそれでいいと言ってるからだ。
Well, because it's what he wanted, so.
トワさん、君はなぜ周りに自分をトワと呼ばせているんですか？
Towa-san, why have you asked people to call you that?
別に楽だから。
I don't know. It's easier.
それなら昔の名前で呼ばれても問題はない。そうですね。
Surely, it wouldn't matter if someone were to call you by your old name, correct? I love how, like, Ray's just sitting there listening, like, yeah, yeah. Just then, a strangely restless impulse shot up my spine, making my whole body go numb. No. I could hear a voice in my head. I didn't want anything to do with my real name. As the restlessness swelled, the voice in my head started to scream. My heart pounded faster and faster as my palms began to sweat.
今一度本名を認識することで過去に関する何かを思い出すかもしれない。
By internalizing your real name, you may remember something about your past.
それが重要な手がかりへつながる可能性もある。 トワさん、いいですね。
This could be a critically important clue. Toa-san, do you mind? He framed it like a question, but the look in his eyes made it clear I didn't have a choice. I started to protest, but the nausea forced me to keep my mouth shut. As I started to feel worse and worse, I closed my eye and breathed heavily. My heart was threatening to explode, my head ached, my chest was tight, I felt dizzy.
村瀬先生、
Dr. Murase. Fujieda turned his intense gaze on Taku.
ねえ、トアが苦しそう。もうやめて。
Hey, Toa doesn't look too good. Let's stop this. Ray spoke up hastily.
藤枝さん、あなたは一体何を調べてるんだ？
Fujieda-san, what exactly are you investigating? As Taku glared back, Fujieda spoke quietly.
ある真実を明らかにするために動いています。
I am working to bring a certain fact to light.
あなたがいろいろと暴き立てることで誰かが傷つくかもしれない。それでも構わないと。
Yeah, well, all your digging might hurt somebody. Aren't you worried about that?
ええ、この件は思った以上に深い闇の中にある。暴こうとすれば必ずどこかに影響が出るでしょう。
I admit, the truth is darker than I ever imagined. The revelation is sure to impact something somewhere.
だったらなおさら話すことはできない。
Then I'm afraid I really can't tell you anything.
本当にそれでいいとお思いですか？
Are you sure that's the right move? I like that jacket. Shit, he looks so slick. I love jackets like these. They're so cool. It looks like really good on him, but it's not fair. Wait there. Fujieda stared Taco down. His eyes glinted coldly.
ずっと黙っていることが本当にトワさんのためになると。
Is your silence truly in Towa's best interests? This jacket looks really tight. It's really like accentuating the curve of his pec. But I think this artist draws shirt to like kind of emphasize the titties. This looks natural. This doesn't. Unless he has like huge fat tits, you know?
トワさんは日々悪夢にうなされている。薬を飲んで抑えようとしているようですね。
Towa-san has been suffering nightly nightmares, and using pills to suppress them. Isn't that right?
それほどまでの悪夢を見ること自体異常な状況だとは思わないんですか？
Don't you think it's a little unusual for someone to have nightmares this frequently? Haku growled and averted his eyes.
だからこそだ。そんな悪夢、過去なんて思い出さない方がいいはずだ。
That just proves my point. He shouldn't have to remember the nightmares of his past.
トワさんは過去を知りたいと言っている。自ら望んでるんです。
But he wants to remember. Doesn't he get to say?
それでも
I don't care. Haku stared at the floor, his hands balled into fists. Hey, Papa Bear, why don't you, stop deciding things for Towa? Just a thought. If Ray does it, it's, like, healthy, but if you do it, it's kind of like, hey, bro. Hey, man.
先ほど言った通り、過去を思い出すことで周りにも影響が出るかもしれません。ですが、それはトワさんも覚悟の上でしょう。
As I said, the memories might impact something somewhere, but I'm sure Towa-san is prepared for that outcome.
そして、それは私も同じです。
As am I. Taku looked at me bitterly, as if to confirm whether Fujieda had the right of it. Rei was looking at me too, his anxiety palpable, palpable, palpable. I don't know how to say it. I don't know. I sat there in silence, enduring the headache and vertigo.
もう一度お聞きします。あなたがやっていることは本当にトワさんのためになるのですか？
I shall ask you one more time. Are you really acting in Towa-san's best interests?
せめて名前くらいはあなたの口から真実を伝えてもいいのでは？
Surely it wouldn't kill you to tell him his own name. Taku shot me an uncertain look. I didn't want to hear my name. But on the other hand, I didn't understand why I felt so strongly about it. What was the harm? Would it change anything? Swallowing dryly, I looked back at Taku.
言ってくれ。
Please, just say it. He grimaced back at me, but reluctantly gave in and looked away.
ハルト。桜木。ハルトだ。
I don't see a TOWA in that, but okay. Like maybe the TOWA, I guess. Oh, red. Yeah, I don't need to say that. Sakuragi Haruto. Everything in my field of vision warped like the contents of a paint bucket.
トワ
TOWA!
トワ
Voices around me all sounded muffled. Like a twisting kaleidoscope, bright colors filled my vision, all while something replayed in my mind. A twisted sneer, stares, flying, falling. Falling and falling.
おい、どうした？
Hey, what's wrong?
トワ
My vision went blank, and the next thing I knew, I was on the floor.
部屋へ連れて行こ
Let's take him to his room.
わかったわ
Got it. Taku and Ray positioned themselves on my left and right, then hauled me up. I still couldn't process what was happening. All I could see was colors. My heart thumped hard against my ribcage, intensifying the headache and nausea. But eventually, my consciousness grew too heavy to carry, and I let go. When I opened my eye, I saw a familiar ceiling. Slowly, I looked around. I was in my apartment, lying on the bed. Maybe they should have recycled those bottles. Just a thought. Wait, he has a laptop? There was something cold on my forehead. I reached up to touch it, and I found a wet washcloth.
トワ具合はどう
Towa, how are you feeling? Hey, Ray. A worried voice rang out as Ray came into view. Next to him stood Taku and Fujieda. Ah, shit, everyone's worried. All the love interests. Probably Madarami's like out the window, like, oh, what happened? Then I remembered that I had passed out. 1 minute we were talking, and then all of a sudden I started hallucinating. It was because I heard my old name. Sakuragi Haruto. The memory was enough to make me sick.
トワ倒れてから1時間くらい眠ってたのよ
Oh, it's been like an hour since you passed out.
う。嫌な思いをさせちまったな。
Sorry for putting you through that, kid. Taku looked utterly miserable.
何か思い出したことはないか？
Have you remembered anything? Fujieda's less than considerate question earned him a scathing look from Taku.
これがトアの幸せにつながってるとは思えない。
I can't imagine this is what's best for TOWA.
悪いことをしたとは思っています。が、やってみなければわからなかったことでもあります。こればかりは仕方がないでしょう。
I concede. This wasn't a pleasant experience for him, but we wouldn't have known without trying. This was simply unavoidable.
あんたは。
Damn it, you. Right as Taku snapped, a buzzing sound filled the air.
失礼。
Excuse me for a moment. Fujieda pulled his cell phone from his jacket pocket and raised it to his ear.
はい。あ、どうしました？ええ、大丈夫です。ええ、わかりました。
Hello? Oh yes, what is it? Okay, I don't mind. Very well.
それでは、待ち合わせ場所の情報を今から送ります。はい。よろしくお願いします。
I'll go ahead and send you the address. Yes, of course. Thank you very much. He ended the call and looked at me.
先ほどの女性からだ。マヤさんについて話したいことがあるらしい。会う場所はこちらで用意する。君も来てくれ。
That was the woman we spoke to. Apparently, she's willing to talk to us about Maya-san. I'll arrange our meetup location, so come with me, please.
わかった。
誰からだ？
What woman? Taku and Ray looked at the two of us suspiciously.
マヤさんの情報を提供してくれる女性です。今日、話を聞きに伺ったんですが、断られました。
Someone who has information about Maya-san. We went to see her earlier today, but she turned us down.
大丈夫なのか、それは。
You sure you're okay with that?
どういう意味ですか？
What do you mean?
高里組はマヤさんのことを隠したがってる。あんたの動き次第で、その女性にも危険が及ぶかもしれない。
The Takasato Gumi doesn't want people knowing about Maya-san. Your actions might just put that innocent woman in danger.
その可能性は高い。というより、高里組には把握されているかと。
That is indeed likely. By which I mean to say that the Takasato Gumi already knows about it.
何？
ここに来る前に銃撃を受けました。
Someone shot at me prior to my arrival here.
銃撃？
They shot at you?
怪我？
Are you hurt?
ありません。村瀬先生。
No, but Dr. Murase. Fujieda turned his sharp gaze on Taku.
大変申し訳ないのですが、私はあなたのことを完全には信用していません。あなたは高里組とつながっている。
I apologize for what I'm about to say, but frankly, I don't fully trust you. You have connections to them.
確かに高里組の人とは知り合いだし、患者さんとしてもうちに来るけど。
Well, it's true that we know people who work for them, and they come here for medical treatment, but... Ray seemed to sense that something was wrong because he frowned and looked at Taku. Likewise, I shot a questioning look at Fujieda. Where did that come from? He took one look at our confused reactions and sighed in mild annoyance.
どうやらそこのお二人は知らないようですね。村瀬先生、秘密はあまり多く抱えない方がいい。身を滅ぼしますよ。
It would appear these two know nothing about it. You shouldn't keep too many secrets, Dr. Murase, or you'll bring about your own...
ただ、私はあなたと高里組の関係には興味がない。あなたが私の邪魔さえしなければ、口を挟むつもりはありません。
That said, I have no interest in your ties to the Takusato Gumi. As long as you stay out of my way, I shall keep my mouth shut.
話を戻しますが、いいですか?
Oh then, may I go back to what I was saying? I looked around the tensely silent room.
話を聞きに行ったとき、彼女はひどく怯えていました。
When we went to speak to her, she was deeply frightened.
何かひどいトラウマがあるのか、それとも誰かに脅されて口止めでもされているのか。
Either she's traumatized, or someone's blackmailed her into staying quiet.
どちらにしろ、本来であればこちらと関わらず、知らぬ存ぜぬで通した方が彼女にとっては安全です。
Either way, one would think she would have discarded my business card and gone back to her normal life.
なのに、すぐに連絡してきたということは、状況が変わったか、何か相談したいということでしょう。
And yet, she got in touch with me mere hours later, which suggests the circumstances have changed and she wants to talk.
とにかく、向こうから連絡があった以上、会わないわけにはいきません。
Anyway, seeing as she's reached out to me, I'm obligated to go and meet with her.
こちらとしても、手がかりを得る機会を逃したくはありませんから。
I personally cannot afford to miss a single opportunity to gather clues. As Taku grimaced silently, Fujieda turned his attention to me.
先ほどの話の続きだ。昔の名前を聞いて、何か思い出したか?
Now then, as we were saying, when you heard your old name, did it bring back any memories?
Yeah.
No. I muttered and closed my eye. There was something mixed with the kaleidoscope hallucination, but I couldn't remember what. What was that? When I opened my eye, Fujieda nodded slightly.
すぐに思い出さなくてもいい。思い出すきっかけになっていることを願う。それでは、私はそろそろこれで。
Take your time. I can only pray that it'll help you remember later on. Now then, I must be going. He walked to the door, opened it, and left. Wait, what? Isn't TOWA gonna come?
危険だな。
It's too risky.
そうね。
Agreed.
お前はいいのか?
Are you sure you want to do this? Yeah. As at Taku's question, I looked up at the ceiling. Yeah. It was too late to turn back now. Not after I had come so far.
そうか。だが、俺は。
Alright then. But He faltered and looked away.
ねえ、タク。さっきの話なんだけど。
Hey Taku, can we rewind a sec? Ray paused, summoned his resolve, then continued.
藤枝さんが言ってた高里組とつながりがあるって。
About this connection to the Takusato Gumi that Fujieda-san mentioned. Right. That. Taku let out a heavy sigh and pursed his lips. Then he looked up with a pained expression on his face.
あんな風に意味深に言われちまったら、話さないわけにはいかないな。
After the comments he made just now, it looks like the cat's out of the bag.
借金があるんだ。高里組に。
Truth is, I got a debt with the Takusato Gumi.
開業するときにお金を借りたとか。
What? Like you borrowed money? I think I cut off right here, so I'm just gonna replay it.
それも含めて他にもある。だから俺は不採者なんだ。信仰身から出ることができない。
That's part of it, but not the whole story. Point is, I'm a debitor trapped here in Shinkomi.
そうだったのね。
I had no idea. Ray frowned sadly. Takasato debitors were injected with a chip called a web tag and monitored using the surveillance towers placed around Shinkomi. The only way to get it removed was to repay the debt owed, and if you tried to leave Shinkomi by force, they'd kill you. Like Ray, I never knew that Taku was one of them.
まあ、なんだ。高里組に借金があるなんて、できれば知られたくはないからな。とはいえ、黙っていてすまなかった。
Well, what I can say is, I never wanted anyone to know I owed money to the Yakuza. That being said, I'm sorry for keeping it from you. He averted his eyes guiltily.
うん、いいの。私の方こそごめんなさい。話してくれてありがとう。
No, that's alright. I'm sorry too. Thanks for telling me. Silently, I looked at him. I wasn't especially surprised to learn he was in debt with the Takasato Gumi. It would clearly explain why they always sent their goons over here. But I had been avoiding him ever since I caught him burning my stuff. He was doing his best to keep me from my past. Setting aside the issue of right or wrong, I could at least understand where he was coming from. After all, the mere sound of my old name had me pass out. Fujieda was right. This rabbit hole went deeper than I realized.
今日はもう帰るね。
I think I'm gonna head home for today. Ray looked up at the clock and smiled wearily.
俺は朝まで1階にいるから、何かあったら呼んでくれ。
I'll be downstairs until morning, so let me know if you need anything. Haku smiled awkwardly as he spoke.
ちゃんと休んでね。とは。おやすみなさい。
Get some rest, Towa. Have a good night. I love Ray. They left the room. Now I was alone. I took a deep breath and looked up at the ceiling. Sakura Giharuto. When I heard it, I felt something inside me shift. But I couldn't put my finger on what. And right now, I was tired of thinking. Ignoring the restlessness in my chest, I slowly closed my eye and shut out the world. I guess he's not going with Fujieda to see that lady. Because my body knew sleep would lead to nightmares, I found myself waking every 30 minutes. Before I knew it, I'd slept well into the afternoon of the next day. As I listened absently to the voice on TV, I learned that today was New Year's Day. I had no sentimental feelings about the start of another year. I got out of bed, walked to the fridge, and pulled out a bottle of booze. As I chugged the cold alcohol, I started to feel a bit better. Bottle in hand, I sat down on the sofa and lit a cigarette. Now that I thought about it, I hadn't smoked in quite a while. I took a long, deep drag until it filled my lungs, then slowly exhaled. As I zoned out on the sofa, drinking and smoking, there came a knock at the door.
よく眠れたか。
Did you sleep well? This dude doesn't wait, he just knocks and he's like, okay, I'm coming in. I'm like, bro. In walked Fujieda. This time he was dressed in a business suit and wearing his glasses. He looked at me and frowned.
もう飲んでいるのか。
Drinking already?
悪いか。
Is that a problem? Bro, he's just chilling. It's New Year's Day. Who the fuck cares? It's fine. I exhaled, crushed my cigarette in the ashtray, then purposely chugged the booze as loud as I could.
酒でも飲まないとやってられないんだよ。
Alcohol keeps me going.
好きにすればいい。
Suit yourself if you must. He glanced around the dimly lit room, then walked to the window and raised the blinds all the way. Normally, I never opened the blinds. The bright midday sun streamed into the room, making me squint. And he opened the window, and a breeze rolled in. When was the last time the window opened?
何やってる?
What are you doing?
この部屋は空気がこもっていて暗い。換気をした方がいい。
This room is dark and stuffy. I want to clear the air.
Huh?
Excuse me. New Year's, fine. I wanted to protest, but it was so blindingly bright I flopped face down on the sofa. I could feel the wind ruffling my hair as it completed its circuit through the room.
くそ。
Fuck it.
吸血鬼か何かなのか、君は。あ、イメージと合っているとは思うが。
What are you, a vampire? Well, you certainly look the part, I suppose. It sounded like a joke, but he said it with a perfectly straight face. Then he glanced at his wristwatch.
昨日。
Yesterday. I raised my head a few inches off the sofa and spoke sluggishly.
撃たれたことをタクにわざわざ言った理由は?
Why did you tell Taku you got shot at?
タクが高里組をけしかけたとでも思ってるのか?
You don't think he told them to do it, do you?
まさか、そこまでは思っていない。
No, of course not. Nothing as extreme as that.
じゃあなんでだ?
Then why? His stoic eyes bored into me through the lenses of his glasses.
彼は高里組とつながっている。連中の容赦のなさを今一度伝えておいた方がいいと思っただけだ。
Seeing as he's connected to the Takusato Gumi, I thought I'd remind him just what they're capable of. That's all.
高里組と縁を切れって?
What, so you want him to cut ties with them?
それが最も良い選択だが、あとは本人次第だ。口で言うほど簡単ではないからな。
That would be the most ideal option. But it's his decision to make, and I realize it's not that simple. He looked back at his watch.
もうすぐ待ち合わせの時間だ。出かける準備をしてくれ。
It's nearly time for our appointment. Get ready to go, please.
わざわざ迎えに来たのかよ?
Why, you came all this way to pick me up?
ああ。昨日はかなり体調が悪そうだったからな。それに、君ならば寝過ごす可能性も十分にあるだろう。
Indeed I did. You were in terrible shape yesterday. And even if you weren't, chances were likely you'd oversleep regardless. I couldn't really argue with that. With a sigh, I pushed myself into a sitting position. My body felt heavy, and this blinding sunlight was sapping my energy. Maybe I was a vampire.
早く準備をしろ。
Make it quick.
わかってるよ。
Alright already. Just then I heard the wail of an ambulance. It steadily grew louder until it was right outside. I rose from the sofa, walked to the window, and peeked out. Two paramedics hopped out of the ambulance carrying a loaded stretcher in the direction of our clinic. The victim appeared to be female. An ominous feeling rose up in my chest. I shot a look at Fujieda. He frowned as he followed my gaze outside.
今の救急車。
What's that ambulance doing?
クリニックに運ばれた。担架に女が乗ってた。
They just brought some chick into the clinic on a stretcher.
女性が
A woman. Then Taku's words replayed in my head.
高里組はマヤさんのことを隠したがってる。あんたの動き次第でその女性にも危険が及ぶかもしれない。
The Takasato Gumi doesn't want people knowing about Maya-san. Your actions might just put that innocent woman in danger. Fujieda must have come to the same conclusion. He headed straight for the door, and I followed suit. Downstairs in the waiting room, I spotted Taku racing down the hall. Then he saw us and walked over.
急患だ。女性が撃たれた。
Emergency patient, a woman's been shot.
知り合いかもしれない。
It may be someone we know. At this, his face stiffened.
第二処置室だ。
Secondary medical ward. Oh. We followed after Taku in his fluttering lab coat all the way to the elevator. Shit. We followed Ray standing inside the medical ward on the second floor.
TOWA? 藤枝さんもどうしたの？タクから連絡があって急いで来たんだけど。
TOWA? Fujieda-san? What's going on? Taku told me there was an emergency, so I rushed over.
今運ばれてきた患者が知り合いかもしれない。
We believe the patient may be an acquaintance of ours.
え？
Huh?
念のために確認させてもらいたい。
I'd like to check if you don't mind.
ええ、どうぞ。
What? All right. Overwhelmed by Fujieda's urgency, Ray nodded meekly. Together, Fujieda and I approached the patient's bed. Sure enough, it was Hasegawa. She looked to be unconscious. Her clothes were stained red in the shoulder.
長谷川さん。
At this, Taku looked over.
知り合いか。
So you know her.
今日話を聞くことになっていた女性です。
She's the woman we were supposed to speak to today. Anger filled Taku's eyes and his smoke thrashed.
救急隊員が目撃者から聞いた話によると、撃たれて倒れたらしい。銃弾は右肩を貫通している。命に別状はないが。
According to an eyewitness the paramedic spoke to, she was found collapsed on the ground. The bullet went clean through her shoulder and she's in no mortal danger, but...
犯人については、おそらくあんたが一番よくわかってるんだろうな。
I figure you can guess exactly who was behind it. In a flat, emotionless voice as he worked. Yeah, that's definitely a warning shot. Like, if it went straight through, they were probably really close by, right?
外で待っています。
I'll wait outside. Fujieda muttered quietly with a pointed look in my direction. Together we stepped out of the room. An hour later.
終わったぞ。話がしたいそうだ。
It's done. She wants to speak to you. The door opened and a surly-looking Taku walked out. Fujieda and I walked into the medical ward and approached Hasegawa's bed. Her shoulder was now wrapped in white bandages. Her complexion was still pale, but her eyes were now open faintly. Slowly, weakly, she turned to look at Fujieda.
長谷川さん。
She's so cute.
話はできますか？もし辛いようなら無理はしないでください。
Can you speak? If it's too much, then please don't overexert yourself. Hasegawa nodded slightly, eyes unfocused.
大丈夫です。
Okay, I can.
She wheezed like she could scarcely breathe.
無理に話さない方が。
Hey now, don't push yourself.
いいえ、本当に大丈夫です。話をさせてください。
No, really, it's okay. Please let me say this.
Half lips parted as she struggled to speak.
私を撃ったのは高里組です。今回は運よく助かったけれど、次は本当に殺されるかもしれない。
It was the Takasato Gumi that shot me. I got lucky this time, but the next time they might just kill me.
だからその前に話しておきたいことがあるんです。
So before they can, there's something I want to tell you.
Everyone in the room waited for her to continue.
私は高里組に返せないほどの借金を作ってしまいました。それでシエロで働くことになったんです。
I'm in debt with the Takasato Gumi, a sum of money I can never repay. That's why I started working at Cielo.
私が勤務するお店にマヤさんがいました。マヤさんは組長のお気に入りということで、周りからも一目置かれていました。
That was where I met Maya-san. She was the gang leader's favorite, so she received special treatment.
私は普通に働いていただけだったんですが、ある日なぜか榊さんから声がかかったんです。マヤさんのサポートをしろと。
They treated the job like any other. I treated the job like any other ordinary job, but then one day, for some reason, Sakaki-san flagged me down and told me to help Maya-san.
借金は帳消しにすると言われました。ただし、これから先、どんなことがあったとしても、絶対に他言無用だと。そう、きつく言われて。
Exchange, they said they'd cancel my debt, under the condition that I never told a soul about the work, no matter what it was. They warned me over and over.
最初は何が何だか分かりませんでした。でも借金がなくなるならと思って。
I understand what was going on. I just wanted to erase my debt.
それでマヤさんのサポートをすることになったんです。
So I agreed to assist Maya-san.
でも想像すらしていませんでした。まさかそれがあんなことになるなんて。
But I never imagined it would lead to such awful things.
誰にも言えなくてずっと苦しかった。罪悪感が消えなくて押しつぶされそうでした。
I couldn't tell a soul, and I was just dying inside. The guilt was crushing me. I couldn't shake it.
She paused to let out a shaky sob.
何があったんですか？
What happened there? She averted her eyes hesitantly.
ユーフォリアは一見普通の会員制クラブで通っていました。
At first glance, Euphoria seemed like any other exclusive nightclub.
でも実はその裏で公にできない身分の人たちを対象に特殊な趣味を扱っていたんです。
But behind closed doors, they offered special services to people of certain privilege status.
特殊な趣味？
Special services?
マヤさんは客の本当の幸せを演出するための店なんだと言っていました。
There we go.
Instead, she started Euphoria in order to provide true happiness to her customers.
でも実際は客の歪んだ欲望を晴らすための狂った店でした。
But in reality, it was an evil corporation designed to enable their dark desires.
歪んだ欲望って。
Dark desires?
ありとあらゆる要望に応えるための準備もされていました。未成年もいましたし。
They were equipped to fulfill any need. They even kept minors on site.
顧客は政治家、高級官僚、海外からのゲスト、そういった方々でした。
Their clientele included politicians, government officials, foreign celebrities, people like that.
そこであなたは何を？
So what was your job?
私はマヤさんのサポートといってもただの雑用係だったので、直接的な行為には一切関わっていません。
I was told to help Maya-san, but I was really just a gopher, so I wasn't directly involved in any of the activities.
それでもあの時榊さんの誘いに簡単に乗ってしまったことを今でも後悔しています。
But regardless of that, to this day, I regret ever willingly agreeing to Sakaki-san's proposal.
とても言葉にできないような光景や本当にいろいろなことがあってとても
The things I saw there, I truly can't begin to explain. It was just so much.
She faltered, her expression twisted in pain. The longer she talked, the sicker I started to feel. I had no sentimental attachment to Maya, so this revelation didn't impact me much. And yet, at the same time, I felt a strange weight deep in my chest, suffocating me. Not only that, but Hasegawa's description of my mother seemed to be at odds with everything I'd heard about her thus far. The image I had of her didn't match this nefarious business tycoon. Did the Takusadogumi force her into it? Curious about Fujieda's reaction, I looked over and quickly realized something was amiss. His unusual composure was gone, replaced with a deep furrowed brow and tightly pursed lips. I'd never seen him look so distressed.
そこには少年や少女もいたのか？
Were there children there? Little boys and girls? He asked in a strangled voice.
はい。
Yes.
柚木芽衣という名前の少女知らないか？
Did you happen to know a girl by the name of Yuzuki Mei?
名前まではちょっと。
Well, I never knew their names.
Hasegawa shook her head guiltily. Yuzuki Mei. Was that the name of his friend's missing sister? The blood drained from his face. Fujieda pulled his old memo pad from his coat pocket. Then he withdrew a photograph tucked in between the pages and held it up for Hasegawa to see.
Oh.
Her eyes promptly widened.
知っているのか？
Do you know her?
この子いました。覚えてます。
She was there. I remember her.
他の子たちが日に日に生気を失っていく中でずっと強い意志を持ち続けていたというか、そんな風に私には見えたので。
While the other children quickly lost the will to live, she never gave in to despair. Or at least, that's how I saw her.
Fujieda's fingers trembled as he held the photo.
それで彼女は？
Where is she now?
マヤさんがとても気に入っていた男の子がいて、彼女はその子といつも一緒にいました。
There was this little boy that Mayu-san liked. She would always pair the two of them up.
二人とも綺麗な子だったので、セットで人気があったというか。
They were both very pretty children, so customers would often request them together.
でも、二人で逃げ出そうとしたみたいで、連れ戻されているところを見ました。
But then, one time they tried to run away together, and I witnessed them being dragged back.
それから？
And after that?
それから男の子の方は店で見たんですけど、 女の子は見かけなくなりました。
I would see the boy on occasion, but I never saw the girl again.
Fujieda pulled out his cell phone and showed something to Hasegawa. Showed something.
これに見覚えは。
Do you recognize this at all? She gazed at the screen and paused, trying to remember.
このぬいぐるみ見たことがあります。その女の子が持っていたぬいぐるみに似ているような気がします。
Stuffed toy. I've seen it before. It reminds me of the toy that little girl used to carry around.
そうか。
I see. At this, Fujieda lowered the phone as if in defeat. What did she say just now? Stuffed toy? Swallowed my saliva and my condition sharply worsened. Fujieda must have showed Hasegawa a photo of the bunny toy, which proved that he was the one who took it from my apartment.
マヤさんのお店のことは高里組がずっと隠し続けています。
The Takasato Gumi has kept Maya-san's business hidden for years.
マヤさんが亡くなった後、榊さんに店のことは絶対に誰にも言うなと念を押されました。
He passed away. Sakaki-san warned me not to talk to anyone about it.
私もずっと高里組に監視されていて、心安らぐ日なんてありませんでした。
Since then, they've been monitoring every aspect of my life. I've never known a single day of peace.
昨日、あなたがバイト先へ来た時も、マヤさんの話をするつもりはなくて。でも、
Be told, when you came by the cafe yesterday, I wasn't planning to talk, but
Her brow was etched deeply with anguish.
初めて第三者からマヤさんについて聞かれて、当時のことを思い返したら、
it was the first time a third party had asked about her. And when I thought back over what happened,
私は自分が思っている以上に後悔しているということに気がついたんです。
I realized I regretted it even more than I thought I did.
たくさんの子供たちが物のように扱われて傷つけられて、それを私は黙って見ていた。
Those people were using these children like their playthings, hurting them, and I just stood there and watched it happen.
自分の身に何が起こるかわからないから怖くて言いなりになっていた。
I was too scared of what might happen to me if I didn't do as I was told.
あの店のことを暴いてほしいとは言いません。相手は高里組ですから。でも独りよがりだと分かっていても、せめて誰かに話したくて。
I won't ask you to expose the truth. No one stands a chance against the Takasato Gumi. I know it's selfish. Just needed to finally tell someone.
Oh, we could get our friend Madarama in and he'll kill the two heads and then boom. No problem.
話したところで許されるとも思っていませんし、懺悔にすらならないことも分かっています。
I don't expect anyone to forgive me, and I know my confession doesn't absolve me of my crimes.
それでも一人で抱えていくにはあまりにも辛かった。
I just couldn't bear it all on my own anymore. It just hurt so much.
She let out a muffled sob. As her shoulders shook, Taku quietly reached out to her.
少し休んだ方がいい。
You should get some rest. He and Rei watched over her with mournful looks on their faces. Meanwhile, all emotion had vanished from Fujieda's expression. That brief glimpse of distress had disappeared behind a blank slate. albeit one too pale to pass as stoic.
今日はもうここまでにしよ
Let's leave it at that for today. Taku spoke sharply, then approached Fujieda and lowered his voice.
う。あんた、分かってるのか？これは見せしめだ。
You see what this is? It's a warning.
高里組は彼女を簡単に殺すことができる。なのに、こうしたたり、分かってるはずだ。
It could have killed her, but instead they sent her here alive. Surely you get the message. But Fujieda didn't answer. Instead, he headed for the door. I started to follow after him. However...
おい
Oh, whoa! Hey!
とは
My body failed to cooperate and my vision tilted sideways. Taku and Ray dashed over and caught me before I fell.
やだとはすごい汗
Oh god, Towa, you're sweating buckets.
レイ、長谷川さんを見ていてくれ。俺はトアを部屋へ連れて行く。
Ray, watch over Hasegawa-san for me. I'll take Towa to his room.
わかった
Got it. Taku put my arm around his shoulder and started walking slowly. Through the haze of my mind, I could see a flickering image of a little girl. Yuzuki Mei. Maybe that was his little sister. She looked at me and smiled. We sat face to face in the red room. She beamed from ear to ear as she took my hand in both of hers. Her hands were so warm, it nearly made me smile too. She was wearing a pretty dress and she was very happy about it. Likewise, I was wearing fancy clothes too. We match, she seemed to say. Just then, a red fissure shot through my vision. Everything in my sight was splattered with red paint. When it cleared away, the girl was sobbing. Someone had grabbed her by the hand and was leading her away from me. There, in the empty space she left behind. Lay a forgotten plush toy. He's still asleep, because I need to piss. I was holding it in. I've been drinking quite a bit. I was holding it in during like the really intense talk, and I was just like, I don't want to piss during this. So he's still asleep. Shh, he's still sleeping. I woke from the nightmare, slick with sweat. Slowly, I sat up. For once, I actually remembered what had happened. After all, it matched what Hasegawa had told us. Deep down, I had a feeling I would dream about it. I looked around the quiet room and attempted to wake up. The damp smell drew my attention to the window. I could hear a trickling sound beyond the closed blinds. Apparently, it was raining. Then I looked up at the clock ticking soundlessly on the dark wall. It felt like I'd slept for days, but in reality, not much time had passed. I rose from the sofa and left the room without even pulling my coat on. I could only hope the rain would wash this miserable mood. As I passed by the second floor on the way down the stairs, I heard sounds coming from the medical ward. I figured Taka was probably treating Hasegawa, so I kept walking. Arriving at the first floor, I left the building through the front entrance. Sheets of rain fell from the dark, stagnant sky, soaking my whole body in an instant. My water-clogged clothes grew heavy and clung to my skin while my hair stuck to my face. But I didn't care. I set off down the empty street. As I wandered aimlessly, I spotted the park up ahead. The sight of the abandoned playground equipment was almost tragic in a way. I wandered into the park, crossing the muddy earth. I was headed to the concrete tunnel just up ahead. Whenever I hid myself in there, Fujieda would come find me. It had happened twice now. And on both occasions, it was raining. When I reached the tunnel entrance, I crouched down. I thought it was empty, but in fact, someone was curled up inside. He was wearing a business suit, and his wet coat lay balled up next to him. It was Fujieda. He sensed my presence and looked up at me. His polished glasses were dotted with raindrops, and his usually tidy hair was sticking to his forehead. His expression was utterly zombified. Fujieda looked at me, and his pale lips parted. So, she... She's dead. The little girl. His voice was so quiet. Oh no, not this. Oh yes, this trauma dumping. Trauma dump. His voice was so quiet, I wasn't sure he was even talking to me.
何がおとなしいだ。全く逆の極悪非道な悪女じゃないか。
Shit, Fujieda, what the fuck happened to you? That personality, my ass. She was the total opposite. Heartless, monstrous bitch. He was looking at me, but he wasn't seeing me. He seemed to be talking to himself.
妹はただ普通に生きていただけだった。何の罪も犯してはいない。
My sister just wanted a normal life. She never did anything wrong.
なのに気の触れたけだものどもの醜い性欲を満たすためにそんなくだらない理由で
So why? Why'd she have to satisfy those nutjobs and their fucked up fetishes? For no reason? Out of nowhere, he lunged at me. Shit. Wait, is this smoke pink? I thought it was white. No. Where is he? Smoke color white, oh. Out of nowhere, he lunged at me. I landed on the wet ground, flat on my back. The impact made me squeeze my eyes shut. And when I opened it, Fujieda's twisted grimace was right in front of me. His eyes were filled with seething rage like the likes of which I had never seen. Idly, it occurred to me that this was the first time I'd seen him express his emotions. Oh, he punched me hard in the face. Then a second time, then a third, my vision swam. After a few more punches, he stopped and growled down at me. His eyes glinted darkly as the rain poured down on us.
お前たちみたいな最低の奴らがいるから妹はお前たちのせいで
I think he's projecting, but because of degenerates like you, my sister, it's all because of people like you. Oh. Roaring, he put both hands around my neck. Whoops. As he crushed my windpipe, I gasped for air. He wasn't playing around. This wasn't a segs thing. He was intentionally trying to kill me. His grip was tight, and with his weight pinning me down, I had no hope of escape. So my only option was just to die. Admittedly, a sudden pointless death was exactly the kind of death I deserved. Shit. With that thought, I slowly closed my eye. My oxygen levels depleted further and further, and I gasped for breath. But as I was waiting to lose consciousness, the chokehold loosened. Confused, I opened my eye. Fujieda stared down at me mournfully. Was that rainwater streaming down his face, or...
お前を殺したところで妹は戻ってこない
Killing you won't bring her back.
だから謝れ
So I want you to apologize.
お前たちの食い物になった犠牲者に